He is a physician. He is an Air Force veteran. He is a MD, an MBA, right, and a JD. Okay, he has a clinic in North Miami. He has commendations as long as my arm. He is produced films, right? I think you acted in some movies. And what's really interesting in reading his bio is he raised money for something I saw in Savannah, which was a monument to Haitian soldiers who fought in the American Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
I mean, people
Created by a sculptor who lived down the street
Jim's
here.
Maston.
Jim Maston.
Okay. And so he's done it all, right? And now he feels like he hasn't done enough. He needs to become a congressman. So anyway, I really appreciate you coming here, and the floor is yours.
How long do I have so I can?
3 hours. Well, it's we're here till 8. We can go a little bit longer.
Okay, no, I'm not going to take up the time. But thank you for such a great introduction. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. It's interesting. I started my career down the street, Little River. When I first opened up my practice, it was right next to the old American First building. And then I used to go to that football subway shops that was there. I don't know if it's still there. It's closed?
No, it's closed.
It's
It's
gone.
closed. I used to go there all the time to eat my sandwiches because it was close, just around the corner. And then I expanded because I'm such a great physician. So I need a bigger place. So I moved to North Miami, 119th. I've been there for the past 40 years now. So, well, I decided to run for Congress, not because I'm looking for a job. Not I'm looking for another accolade. I have all of those. Okay, but I decided to run because of all the crises happening in our communities right now. We have a healthcare crisis. We have an economic crisis. We have affordable housing crisis. And we have immigration crisis, among other things. And in good conscience, I couldn't just stay on the sidelines and watch things happen. I decided to step into the arena and do something about it. So I have spent my entire life as a medical provider, as an Air Force colonel and flight surgeon, as an attorney, as a businessman, as a philanthropist. And I think this is the time and the moment that calls for experience, discipline, and effective leadership. In the Air Force, I learned about 3 core values that I've used in the Air Force as well as my everyday life. Number 1 is integrity in everything. Number 2 is service before self. I think of the people before I think of myself. And number 3 is excellence in all that I do. And let me share with you the story. When I was in college, I had a part-time job in a nursing home, taking care of elderly folks, but also mapping the floor. After I mapped the floor, I did such a wonderful job that people tell me that, you know what, Rudy, you did such a great job that I can even eat on the floor because it's so clean. So this is just to show you, whatever I do, I try to do an excellent job. And I want to bring these core values with me when I go to Congress as well. This campaign is about building bridges, not closing doors. It's about opportunities, not division. Unfortunately, this country now, we have a lot of division, and this is so sad. I've never seen this, since I've been in this country for the past 40-something years. This is to ensure that every child, every young adult, every senior, every community as a voice in the future. I know these struggles personally. When I came from Haiti, I came with nothing except for a strong determination to have a better life. I remember going to college and I failed the English placement test. And my advisor told me, what do you want to become? I told her I want to be a physician. She said, but you can even speak English. How could you become a doctor? Why don't you learn French, become a French major, and be a French teacher? And when I told her, well, I also want to become an attorney. An attorney, you have a language handicap. Because earlier I used to stutter. And I couldn't speak well. Of course, over the years, then I grew out of it. And she said, you cannot become an attorney as well. But I work hard despite all the odds. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to share with you that I have succeeded professionally. I became a successful businessman, and then I gave back to the community a lot. So now, what is my platform? My platform is this. On my website, there's more details. Moise for Congress. But I'm just going to touch a little bit on it. As a physician, I think healthcare is my priority. Healthcare is unaffordable for a lot of people. As you know, because of the loss of subsidies, healthcare cost is tremendous. A policy that used to pay $100 a month, now you're paying $800, $1,000 a month. A lot of people just drop it. And last year, 1.5 million Floridians have lost healthcare coverage. Do you know what this means? When you just absolutely no coverage, something happens. This is disaster. We need to change that. We need to bring the cost of insurance down. And I'm currently working on, I cannot discuss it right now because it's going to create a big nice surprise for a lot of seniors. But we fine tuning it. But you will know about it to help with coverage. Do you know that the price of medications is 3 times as much in other countries than here? 3 times as much. Why? Because the lobbyists for the big drug companies, they're pushing it through, and that's why we're paying more. And the cost is on us. That's why we cannot afford discount that. Number 3, and doctors, I don't know if you know, a lot of physicians are closing their practice, and they are taking jobs with the big corporations. Why? Because the Medicare fees that they're earning is less than inflation. I have a cardiologist, a friend of mine, who does cardiac catheterization. The cardiac cath cost him $1,000. The insurance pays $800. How can you be in business? And a lot of physicians now, they're just working for big corporation, and the corporation, they're actually making money. This has to stop. And this is one of the things, as a physician, if I have the privilege of being in Congress, to work with my other colleagues in Congress to actually help increase, at least have the Medicare reimbursement in line, with inflation. The second part of the agenda, this is the pocketbook issues. Spending, the living expenses are so damn high that it is the working families are working harder just to fall behind. And parents have to make choices between rent, groceries, childcare, or medications. This is America. That shouldn't happen. It should not. And I know people using their credit cards to help make ends meet. And they pay the interest at the end of the month. No. There have to be a better way. And I believe that this war that we have right now should stop. Gasoline went from $2.55 to $4 or $5. and a war that we shouldn't have been beaten. Everything is up. The millionaires, I mean, I don't mind anybody making money. Okay? They don't mind because they have the money. How about the working families? They're the one being heard. It looks like their voice is not being heard in Washington. So this is personal for me. I'm sorry, I get a little bit, upset emotional because, so, and third is affordable housing, particularly for seniors. We met with a group of seniors. They're kind of, scared that they are not able to buy a house, at least to rent a decent place to live. And working force as well, working people as well. They have to move further north because this is where it's more affordable for them. Now, I don't know if you have any children in college or who just came back after they graduate. Do you think that they're able to buy a house right now? They'll be staying with mom, dad for a while. Because unless the job, their well-paying job, they were not able to buy a house anytime soon. So we need to do something about that. And HUD cut the housing budget by $500 million. We need to put that back so we can get more affordable housing. Immigration issues. You've been following the TPS. And I'm from Haiti. You have a lot of people from Venezuela, Haiti, that has been living here for years under the TPS because their countries are not safe for them to live there now. They're working, they're paying taxes, they're helping their parents back home. And now they want to send, at least for the Haitian community, 300,000 Haitians back home. To what? To do what? And those are the people who actually work in a nursing home. They're working in the McDonald's, in Pollo Tropical. Those are people actually working, doing a good job at it. So who's going to be replacing them? This is not good. So, and the Supreme Court agreed with the president. So we're just waiting now to see what's the next step. And if this happens, this country is going to explode. So, District 24, as you know, has been kind of redistricted. It right now is from Hollywood, which is Sheridan, all the way down to 14th Street, which is Jackson Hospital. And on the west side is from the Red Road to Biscayne. And sometimes it goes on Morningside and so it's huge. It's huge. Frederica Wilson, Congresswoman Wilson, as he said earlier, decided to retire. And interestingly, I don't know if you remember, but I ran for this district 16 years ago, in 2010, because the seat was open. This is when Kendrick Meek decided to leave the seat, and then I ran for the US Senate. He lost, but the seat opened up, and 9 candidates jumped in, including 4 Haitians. 30 days before the election, I raised the most money. I had a fantastic campaign. So I met with one of the other Haitian candidates, and I said, look, there's no way. With 4 candidates, we're going to split the votes. And could you join me? She said, no, I'm going to win. Okay. 30 days later, that's exactly what happened. Congresswoman Wilson won. I came second, lost by 2,000 votes. She had 14,000 votes, and all the 4 Haitians had 16,000 votes. If she had joined me, I would have won. But I do believe that everything happened for a reason. 2 years later, I said, oh, I came so close. Let me do it again. So I went against the Congresswoman, and again, had a fantastic campaign. 30 days before the election, she had given up. She closed her campaign office. And I said, yes, I got it. You know what she did? She called President Obama. He said, Mr. President, could you please endorse my campaign? The president said yes. He endorsed her and she kicked my butt. I could not compete against the president of the United States. So like they say, if you cannot beat them, join them. So I became friends with her, supported her for the past 14 years. In fact, we organized, when I opened my medical spa in North Miami, she came and she gave me a nice congressional plaque. And we became good friends, and I became a strong supporter of the 5,000 role model that she has. And now it would be an honor for me to follow her footsteps and continue the great job that she has done. Lastly, this district has 14 cities, and every city has their own needs. And Miami Shores has their own needs. So I want to be a student tonight, and please share with me your concerns so I can be an advocate for you when I go to DC. Because we are all in this together, and I want you to be my partner. I really want to do something to really help the cities. And please share with me your concerns so I can be effective. I want to do a good job. And right now there isn't any Haitian American in Washington, and I think with all the crises happening in Haiti right now, I think it would be nice to be on the table at policy that would help Haiti, that would help the district as well, but also help Haiti. So like that, I get the best of all the worlds. So this is what I have for you tonight. I didn't say too long, but I will open it up for some questions. And excuse my accent, but I'm proud of my accent. But sometimes it tends to be a little heavy. But this is who I am. So there is nothing I can do about this, so I have to accept it. So here we go. I like to recognize somebody in the audience. Rudy, that's my son Rudy Jr., who is in the back here.
Hey. That's the future congressman. So I'll start it off. So I think a lot of people here, like this is a new club, really. We've only been meeting a year and a half. And so much of it is motivated. We read the paper, and Trump has said something done something crazy. Right, Iran, and it's also the things he says. Haitians eat dogs and cats. Somalians are garbage people. And there's always kind of this undercurrent of prejudice. And it's I'm sure that's it's so offensive to so many of us, but I wonder, what is the proper way for us to respond to that? Because I think a lot of people go, Democrats are not responding at all, and particularly locally, the TPS event in North Miami occurred a couple of weeks ago, but for the most part, I think there's people are afraid, intimidated, and we don't speak up when these things happen, when Trump says this stuff. So I don't know, what do you do you think what's the appropriate way to deal with that kind of bigotry and that kind of ugliness?
Let me ask you this. Do you think that what he says, this is just acting for his base? Or do you think that he's just a prejudiced guy who don't care? Because, he is endorsing a black guy for governor. So, you see what I'm saying? If he's endorsing a black guy for governor of Florida, the guy is a black guy. You know what I'm saying? And he's done that a few other races. So, you know, if you prejudice, so you all, you know, so you think it's both. Not only is acting, you know, to create some, you know, controversy and, you know, more press, because every time there's a new controversy, it's become more popular. Okay?
Yeah.
Or you think that is just is core thing is just prejudice. So please share with me what you all think. Go ahead.
Dr. Moise, you're a very accomplished person. I have 3 specific issues. The 20% that are going to vote in August will elect the congressperson here. First, probably hits home. What's your view of Medicare for all? Second, what's your position on the humanitarian crisis in Cuba? And third, and something you're going to vote on, offensive weapons sent to Israel.
Okay. Well, it's not. We were discussing. I'll get to you. But is it okay to finish with that, close that Trump thing, because he asked me a question first? Can we? And I'll get to you. Can we finish with that Trump issue so we can close that, so we can move here? What do you guys think for the Trump situation? Is
Our
it just
president
acting?
is a crass gentleman. He's crass. Yeah, I agree. Gentleman he's crass. So he'll say whatever he needs to say. I've been hearing it my whole life, before he was president, when he was a realtor in New York. So that's who he is. And in a really sickeningly way, I kind of respect that, because he wins. He's become president twice. Incredible. So, and I think that you as a candidate, I would ask you in return, how are you going to push back against that? Because it's very hard to press against that ugliness.
Yeah, I was invited by a good friend of mine who's a Republican to meet the president, Malago, for fundraising, and then the night before, this is when he made the comment about the Haitian cat. I said, no, man, I'm not going to this guy's house. And I'm not. I just decided not to do this. You know, the guy, the president is the president of our country, you know, and I've been very, very, you know, careful to kind of, and that's why I asked you for your opinion, because I have my opinion, you know, but you know, there are certain things that you can share, that you can say, but do you have to be that, you know, Haitian eat cats, you know? So I'm saying, do you have to be that? So I'm saying, I mean, come on. Yeah, that's really offensive, you know. You're a human being. At least have some respect.
Well,
people.
Rudy, he goes after Haitians because he knows he can get away with it. He couldn't go after Cuban Americans the same way because he couldn't do it. The Haitian vote is split. Haitian vote, as you know, there's a lot of conservatives in the Haitian community, and it's a group that he can exploit, and he's done that very effectively.
Rick, by the way. Rick was one of my volunteers when I went to Congress 6 years ago. And I look at him, he's really
He's the
successful.
best dressed guy
Yes.
in the room. Did you have something you wanted to say, ma'am?
Go ahead.
While we are gathering here tonight, the intent is for us to understand the power of the vote. But a lot of what we can't overlook and normalize are things that people do that are wrong, that they say that are hurtful, that they say as it is a truth when it is just negative rhetoric. So, you know, it's not petty, this issue, but we have to identify what and where we will stand when it's uncomfortable, when people minimize and, you know, put individuals in an inferior posture, talk about issues that aren't relevant. We should be talking about equality for all of the people on all fronts. And when you hear something that is not right, and I know it's not the most comfortable of times for us to advocate our thoughts, our beliefs, but we have to come to a point where we look at right being right and not creating that flexible thing where we can kind of say, well, it's right, but I'm gonna take a stance over here because it's comfortable and not speak against it. So this whole process is to learn what we need to do and to let the vote speak for us. And all the other side conversations that come out, we can always talk about every nationality, because there are things that are clumped with individuals that have Jewish backgrounds, black individuals, Puerto Ricans. We can go and come up with something that has been said in a crowd that has been normalized about people. But the important thing is we all have come to have quality of life. We have a right to live and be treated as individuals, respected, with a voice, and believe me, it's gonna affect all of us. Don't think that it's just going to be happening to this group. You don't contain things that you're allowed to grow like wildfire. And what's happening with being polarized and afraid to speak against this and that and normalize wrong, it's not going to just stay in the corridors where you placed it. They will go into other areas unexpectedly. Enough said.
I'd like to answer the gentleman's question. I am for Medicare for all. In fact, I mentioned earlier I'm working on a proposal. Since I know it'll be very challenging to get it going right now, so I'm proposing that we bring Medicare from the age 64 to 50. Okay, because I think that would be so much better if you have coverage, because a lot of the illnesses happening at that time. So if you have insurance to really to prevention, that will really help. That by the time you get 64, that's not when if you had cancer, let's say from 1 to class 4, it will be prevented. So yeah, but this is definitely for Medicare for all, and that would be good for everybody. So. And the second question is something about.
The second question is the humanitarian crisis in Cuba, and the third was selling offensive weapons to Israel. All three are in the House being debated, and you will do that when you arrive.
You might think, Cuba. I believe that, and I think Cuba actually refused. The U.S. offered humanitarian help for Cuba, but Cuba actually refused it. Maybe it's pride, I don't know what it is, but a lot of people are in bad situation over there, and they should take it. They should take it. Not anything to do with the government, but this is for the people. You have to help the people, and I think this is very, very important that they do. So, and I'm pretty sure you have Venezuela and Cuba, and I think Haiti is next as well. So I hope that these countries, changes happen. Positive changes happen, so we can help change the country, so at least people can live in peace, and get a better life, because it's been miserable. People of Venezuela have suffered. People in Cuba have suffered. People of Haiti have suffered. It's we need to have, the U.S. need to be a partner with these countries to help the life of these people. Offensive for Israel, I'm against that. And I think that I read the position paper on Israel, and I think that Israel is a partner. We have to help them as much as we can. But there is some areas that I do not agree with. But this is very, very complicated. I mean, I will have to present the whole paper to you so I can explain to you. So I'll make sure to, if you're interested, I can send it to you so you can see. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
The ability to get anything done in the House of Representatives is based upon seniority. So what is it and how is it that you wish to accomplish something in your first term?
That's a very, very good question. But you know what? It depends on, because of my qualifications, because what I have accomplished, in fact, and I'm not saying this to be cocky, but there is not one member of Congress that have my qualifications. A physician, an attorney, as a master's in business, and currently Air Force. So when I speak, my qualifications, they have to respect what I have to say because they know it's not coming from the air. And there are 20 physicians in Congress. There are 18 House members and 2 senators. I'll be joining the medical caucus right away. So I'll be working with members, and as a primary care physician, I think that my impact will be significant on this. And of course, there are some committees that I'd love to be involved with: foreign affairs, veterans, small business. I would love to get into small business so I can help my community. Bring some help to the business of my community so they can grow as well. So we'll see. And you're right. I mean, you have to build up. But I think that my build up is going to be fairly advanced because of my qualifications.
And if you're still in the minority, and I mean that if the Democrats do not take the House, the Republicans.
Be positive, we will.
Who's going to take the House?
Yes, sir.
I think so.
Dr. Moise, since you're one step from a flag officer to a full-bird colonel, as you know, I'm a Vietnam vet, so one of the things I think that would be appropriate right now, because we've lost 38 flag officers in the military. His first 2 firings when Trump came into office were 2 women, the 2 highest ranking female in the military, and then, of course, the Joint Chief of Staff, the 4-star. And nobody's saying a word. So my thought would be a military appropriations committee, even though the physician and all the crimes and infestation that we have in the United States right now, and the poverty and the economics and the more issues. And most people, because of the judicial system, they're afraid to speak up because they, it's like what's the old saying, think what you want, but watch what you say. That's where most politicians are right now. But one thing I would ask, I'm not a single voter, but as a military man, and what I've seen him wreck the military, what I'd like you to do as a full bird, one step from a flag officer, is to step in and really take hold of that one, because there's a couple of guys in the Congress that are veterans that are trying to work, but you outrank them, and you're that would be my main reason for voting for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You know what? I like you all.
Get to know them, and then you may change your the politicization of the military is so disturbing.
It's disgraceful.
And what Pete Heggs has done is just awful. I mean, the military, I come from a military family, and it is mission first, right? And it was brought in apolitical, and that is changing. And it's not a good thing. It's like the judicial system we're talking about.
In Norfolk, Virginia, right now, the average aircraft carrier stays out to sea for 6 months. We have aircraft carriers that went from Venezuela directly to the Pacific out. They've been out there 12 months. Think about the families that are home. That's the problem. You don't understand it, because the person on duty is more worried about what's going on at home because he hasn't had his or her opportunity to get back home and take care of business. Because when you're rotating in a military service family, it's very difficult. Am I right, Dr. Moise?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I think we have time for like 2 or 3 more questions, so why don't you go, and then I'll get to you.
So I came to activism in this country because the Equal Rights Amendment failed while I was in college. And it's still an issue for all the women here.
Correct.
And we're seeing all the BS that's going on around here. And now we see abortion rights even further decimated, healthcare decimated, a total lack of regard for humanity with this administration right now. So what will you and Congress do to address these things and to work with your Democratic allies, because clearly we're gonna be the majority, to help turn the tide? Because I, for one, am over it. And quite frankly, I think men are mostly to blame for what's going on in this country. Yep, I swear. And that's why they wanna take away our rights. If you're married and you changed your name, you might not be eligible to vote. And enough is enough, for God's sake. And I hope you get on the bandwagon on these issues, because I know all the women here agree with me. And men who get it, right? And I hope you get it. I'm pretty sure you do, because I know Leonie and she told me you're good.
I do believe in equal rights. I do believe in equal rights for women as well. I think that if you qualify, if you have a woman physician and a male physician, why would the man get more money than the woman if they both qualified? You see what I'm saying? And I tell you, you have smart-looking women. I mean, I tell you, you have some sharp. In fact, they do even better job than the men sometimes. Depending on who you are.
I noticed that the women were clapping, and the men were looking at their shoes. Yes, you had a question. Yeah?
No, I didn't.
I'll make one up.
So Rudy, you asked about Miami Shores. So one thing that probably matters more to Miami Shores than even national issues is the preemption of local government and what's happening in Tallahassee. Now, you won't be in Tallahassee, but since there's no Democratic leadership in Tallahassee, perhaps you could be a Democratic leader who could work on our new governor and talk to them about how it doesn't seem like they really believe in small government, because they continue to preempt small government, and there's this top-down, frankly, big government approach, not a conservative approach, being taken on these local communities. We're seeing that now, and it might become a federal issue, because I don't know what I think about the tax cut. I want a tax cut, and everybody in the room wants a tax cut. But if that means that I get a $5,000 tax cut as a homeowner here in Miami Shores, but I got to pay $7,000 in fees because we're privatizing all the services, and that's not a very good deal. And we know the Republicans want to do that. So I think that, not quite a national issue, but it could become one, and it's certainly one of Democratic leadership. So what do you think about that?
Well, the grant is definitely a national issue.
I would have to learn more about this so I can understand it better.
Yeah,
because it's very.
It's so if you go by the library here, there's a big banner, says Miami Shores celebrates Haitian Heritage Month. Next year, that will be illegal because of the DEI law that has been passed in Tallahassee that enables some person to sue the village of Miami Shores for something like that, or the pride flags, right? It's not small government, it's big government with an agenda. Right?
Do you know if the property taxes bill passes? Do you know what money Miami Shores will be losing?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Dade County is $1 billion.
It's 60% of Miami Shores properties are homesteaded properties, and that's what funds our village, and that's where those
This
taxes.
in the Broadway Library, there's no way the Broadway Library could survive. It's got a $600,000 budget. If they cut that, everything's gotta go to the police, because they're not allowed to cut the police.
Right.
So, I mean, Miami Shores would basically be a non-entity. There would be no reason to have a community, really,
Yep.
which is what they want.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
it just so happens that I happen to be a realtor and that's my background. So the other thing that people don't really pay attention to, we had a lot of people for many, many years who always said, you know what, I don't mind paying a little bit more on my property taxes because it's a write-off against my income taxes. So when I'm a self-employed person and I have a higher income tax, it's great, I'm funding my local libraries, my police, my pothole fixing, but instead of paying towards federal taxes, well, Donald Trump removed your property tax, whether you had homeowners exemption or not, across the entire country, which is a federal issue. And so now, so it's no longer an exemption. So you're basically paying taxes twice. You're paying it in income tax and you're paying it in property tax. So that is an angle that is more in his realm versus ours. And it affects all of us because, you know, people, instead of having that extra incentive or benefit on their income tax, don't have it anymore.
Senator Schumer tried to fix that, but it didn't work. They were not Democrats to support it.
So we can do one more question. One more. Who's got the best question here?
I'd like to have after your question, I'd like to call my son Rudy to close for me.
I'll close it.
Jordan.
I would love for you to respond to this woman's very eloquent statement, because I think that what she said about it's not just vulgarity, it's not just attention getting, it's the way that this president has normalized bigotry and abuse and this raw threat of power to do anything he wants to anybody he wants. So I think although I hate the vulgarity and the nastiness and the stupidity, I think it disguises or opens the way for something much worse, which I do think is fascism. And so how would you stand up to that, react to that? I mean, your people, Haitians, I mean, it's not just, oh, they eat dogs and cats, like calling them animals and criminals. It's gross. It's gross. It's the worst thing you can do to another human being, to treat them like that.
I mean, I think what we want is for you to fight for us.
Yeah.
I don't want to send some mealy mouth person. I want you to to go out there and defend
Yes.
us.
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
I'm not. Remember, I'm a fighter. I spent 21 years in the Air Force.
Right.
So I can open my mouth, and particularly for something I believed in. If I have to protect you, my people, I would do that. This president will say, what can I say? But I understand. I will be vocal. I will respectfully vocal, because the guy is still the president, and there's a way that you have to address it. And but yes, I agree, and I thank you for reinforcing that.
All right.
With due respect, I disagree with you on being concerned about being respectful to Donald Trump. And I think the Democratic Party, and it is something that I have been furious at years for, is the Democratic Party does not have a spine. And, we get bullied, and who is a great bullier? Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has charisma. I don't mean that in the good sense, but Hitler
had charisma. And he is looked at as strong, and Schumer and the rest are looked at as mealy mouthed.
That is because they've been in the minority.
Democratic Party's been very.
No, well, that's why we are in the minority.
No, if they were not in the minority, they wouldn't look really mouth. They look with some strength because they oppose him on every policy. But when you have no votes, you don't win. And you look weak when you lose.
Some will stand up, but then there will be others. It was Will Rogers in the 20s who said, and it was a funny line back then, it's not so funny now, said, I'm not a member of an organized political group, I'm a Democrat. And that was a good punchline in 1920. That's Will Rogers. But it's the damn truth. We do not know how to walk lockstep like the Republicans do.
Okay, so it is 8 o'clock.
Good point.
And I know the church wants us to wrap up. Do you want to have your son come
Sure,
up and
sure.
close us out?
Yeah, let me just
Yeah,
say,
go ahead.
when I say respectfully, I mean that I cannot call his name. I cannot say U-A-O, for example. That's what I'm saying. You know, but you can voice your opinion in a direct way without calling names. And that's why I say respectfully, because he looks like, you know, and you have to give the guy respect for his style. Not for the person, but for his style. So that's what I'm going with. He had no idea I was recording, so.
Trial by fire.
Good evening, everyone. How you guys doing tonight? Very good? Okay. So I had the opportunity to hear your concerns and hear what we were talking about in terms of why we're struggling, but specifically when it comes to the bullying dynamics and the charisma factor that you do recognize in Trump. And I think that that's true. My perspective on that and why I'm passionate about my dad's ability to show up and create an impact in Congress is the way that you combat hate speech is the truth. You can't be ashamed, you can't be scared when somebody is actively trying to fight against you. They're actively trying to take things from you. They're actively trying to steal from you for their own personal gain. As we've seen with the administration of Trump in the last couple of years, do you genuinely think that he wants what's best for the American people?
No, absolutely not.
Trump is trying to do what's best for Trump. I have seen this man since my birth, and even before I haven't seen it, but I've seen the results. This man is a public servant. He has served the communities from a nonprofit sense. He's served in this military. He has served consistently every single day that I've seen this man. It has caused a lot of turmoil at times, a lot of stress, thinking about things that may seem to be outside of our control. And we are fighting against a system that is directly designed to put people like Haitian Americans down, people who are the other. They aren't in the in-group. This man has actively fought against that system for over 40 years since he's been in this country. He has actively pushed through and broke barriers. He was the first Haitian American colonel at the time to reach that rank in the military. His MO is pushing through boundaries. His MO is fighting against people like Donald Trump. He has the strength, the capacity, the discipline, and the determination to push past these boundaries and really show up and fight for you the way that you need. And I have my full respect, love, and admiration for this man for that.
All right. I'll make a prediction that we're going to hear from this guy. Again, thank you all, Dr. Moise. Thank you very, very, very much. Stay tuned. We may have a meeting in July, so we'll see if we can make it happen.
Good evening.
But I appreciate everybody coming. Thank you.
Good evening.
Yeah, man. I dig it.